Ibn Kathir in his Tafsir explains that this group of verses are speaking about two different types of hypocrites. We will see the first type of hypocrite in verses 17 to 18, where they make a final choice to continue in this path of deception. We will examine the second type of hypocrite in verses 19 to 20, where they suffer from doubt and are shaky in their iman. Faith or iman is interactive with Allah. If we choose iman, Allah will increase iman in our hearts. If we choose the path of deception, which is hypocrisy, then Allah will allow us to continue in this path, and this state may become final, as we shall see in these verses. The first type of hypocrite is very final in their choice of hypocrisy. This group of people outwardly claimed to be Muslims, but secretly opposed and even plotted against Islam by deception. Verse 17 talks about the light from the fire, which refers to the light of truth that came with Islam, the light that distinguishes truth from falsehood. However, they did not take advantage of this light, but rather tried to extinguish it for other Muslims. So this light would turn into darkness, as we see the use of absolute words in this verse. Allah took away their light. In verse 18, their sense of faculties, such as listening, speaking, and vision, are sealed from responding, and so they will not return. So you hear the finality in the words of the Quran, and the path of guidance is permanently closed out for this kind of hypocrite due to their own choice. The second type of hypocrite are those who suffer from doubt, suspicion, and their faith is shaky. We can see the words in verses 19 through 20 describing the hesitant hypocrite, whose light of faith is sometimes lit and other times extinguished. So the rainfall stands for Islam, and the darkness, the thunder, and lightning stand for the threats and difficulties the Muslims were facing from the opponents of Islam. In verse 20, the hypocrites in Medina walked therein, meaning they went along with the Muslims whenever convenient, such as when they thought the prospect existed to acquire victories in Islam. But they stood still whenever Islam suffered a setback or defeat, showing a readiness to leave their faith when times are tough. In verse 20, we see the lightning almost, yakadu, snatch their vision. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided them a warning that He could have taken away their hearing and their sight, but He did not. So their sense faculties are not sealed as compared to the finality we saw in the last two verses. So there is still a chance for this kind of hypocrite to rectify himself. Allah wills to give them time and more opportunity to see and hear the truth. I will try to provide an example of the second type of hypocrite. A few years back, when Trump had won the US election, Muslims were under a lot of criticism due to the repeated acts of violence committed by some Muslims in the name of Islam. During that time, some Muslims started to become shaky in their faith and even voted for Trump, who openly spoke against Muslims. So when times are tough, such hypocrites fall into confusion and may even switch their support against Muslims. Later, these hypocrite Muslims may have repented, as Allah did not close out their possibilities to return until they themselves chose to. May Allah protect us from such doubts, and may we always have the light of Islam with us. Ameen. Please check out my book on Amazon, where I explore the verse connections of Surah Al-Baqarah and Al-Imran as shown here in this picture. If you have benefited from this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and keep watching this series. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.